Over here, right next to me, is the McLaren Artura, and believe it or not, this sports car is hybrid. Now, the idea of a hybrid sports car isn't entirely new. There's certain competitors that have already come up with hybrid technology for their sports cars. This particular beast is powered by a 3-liter hybrid petrol engine that produces 430 kilowatts. The engine itself does produce 430 kilowatts, but the electric motor for the hybrid technology produces 70 kilowatts. This body paint is called Supernova Silver. Proud exhausts right here above the area which would have the license plates. Now this particular McLaren Artura costs 268,000 euros, but make no mistakes, it's equipped with some of the most interesting of equipments in the equipment list. Now some of those equipments are equipments which we are used to by now, like a 360-degree parking camera, parking sensors at the front and at the rear. You can adjust the height of the nose of your McLaren so that you can drive over speed bumps with ease without having to worry about making contact with this area. Just like a classy car, and especially for this segment, as expected, you get soft close. Now, well done to McLaren for having this, because I'm not going to lie, I saw some competitors that did not have the soft close feature. You get dihedral doors, so they're very similar to what I've seen of the Aston Martin Vantage, but on the Aston Martin Vantage, they have swan doors, so they open like a wing, really. Whereas these dihedral doors, they have a different way of opening, so it's very similar to what you've seen on a typical sports car like a Lamborghini, but they open more upwards. Whereas on certain competitors, they open more sideways. Now, what makes the McLaren Artura unique is that they have a single wiper for the entire window. But then, to be fair, McLaren is not alone in this. I mean, Tesla tried that with a Cybertruck. Over to the interior of the McLaren Artura. Now, this McLaren Artura is equipped with the technology pack and the carbon fiber pack. I believe carbon fiber interior pack. I'm not entirely sure what the precise name is. But the point to note is that the technology pack focuses more on the driver assist aspect of things, such as lane assist, for example. And then also cameras, sign recognition cameras as well. Whereas the carbon fiber pack focuses more on the technical aspect of this McLaren Artura. Steering wheel is one of the best I've ever seen. It's very similar to my experience in a Porsche, but it should be noted that the steering wheel has not a single button on it because, again, it is all performance oriented. You get instead huge pallets right here. Now, all the Stokes, they look like spoons for some reason. And it's making me a bit hungry. It's nice, it's very nice. But you get 4 Stokes, so it's more than what you've seen in a Skoda, perhaps. I would just like to talk about the presentation of the gear controls. They resorted to keeping buttons right here, and they have the start button right in the middle. But there's something I found a bit odd, but then I don't really know if it's questionable or not. Because I see you get a cup holder that's isolated right behind the infotainment system. That's a bit interesting, but there's another cup holder right here. I guess this one is for me and that one is for the passenger because I'm first priority, you know. I'm the driver of the McLaren. And I forgot, you do get a central console storage, but it's very narrow. But then there's no glove box. Now, the absence of practicality solutions should be no surprise because you are not entirely looking at this segment for practicality. But if you are expecting practicality, the German competitors take the trophy in this segment, like the Porsche Model 911 GT3 or the Mercedes AMG GT. The steering adjustment is electric. It's just like a fighter jet because the entire thing moves, including the instrument cluster. And the seating adjustment it's on this side. It's good. Oh, okay. So it's on this side, but it's a bit compressed, I'd say. It's like right in between the seat and the side of the door, so I have to get used to using this seating adjustment. But otherwise, it's fine. It's great. No glasses holders. So as a McLaren driver, I just wonder, where do I put my glasses? Where do I put my glasses? Oh no. Now let's check out the infotainment system together. And over here you get your infotainment system, but I guess it just gets the job done. It's not entirely something fancy. It's not entirely something fancy like compared to something you'd find in a Porsche Model 911, Volkswagen Group. The McLaren is all performance oriented, as I've emphasized before, so therefore it doesn't come as a surprise. But you do get a detailed climate control. I mean, this kind of design reminds me of what I've seen in Volvo. It's cute. I have to confess, these have to be one of the best calipers I've ever seen. They have this metallic color to them. I'm not sure what paint it is exactly, but whatever it is, the fact that it looks metallic is great. It goes very well with the brakes and with the McLaren theme. Now, when it comes to brakes, I have to say that the McLaren is arguably one of the only sports cars that looks great without any red calipers to it, because typically everyone likes to have a red caliper to something sporty, but there's something about McLaren that looks exceptionally okay, exceptionally good. Or like this orange McLaren Artura Coupe, an orange caliper isn't bad either. It looks very good and it blends very well with this body paint. Here is my conclusion of the McLaren Artura. The McLaren Artura is like those very expensive bikes that cost like 2,000 euros and that are meant for professional racing. This car is meant for performance in a professional way. There's no denying about it. And they are not pretentious about it. I think this car had like countless radiators, quite literally. Like I saw like countless air vents with radiators behind it. And when it comes to the performance aspect of things, this McLaren is chocolate fondue. But when it comes down to design and desirability and comfort, I'm afraid that certain competitors have the edge, have an advantage, I'd say. The upper edge, I think that's the term. The point is, the Porsche Model 911 has my heart. But the biggest problem with the Porsche Model 911 would be the fact that it's too saturated. I think everybody has one. However, another interesting competitor would be the Aston Martin Vantage or the Bentley Continental. But the Bentley Continental is definitely more class-oriented. So again, Aston Martin Vantage makes more sense in this regard. Otherwise, you also have the Mercedes AMG GT